We speak for the trees have no tongues. I'm Luke.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Adela.
Alright.
Oh, so, today we have joining us.
Yeah.
So, because Eric is also joining us today.
Of course, you're right. I'm sorry. You're totally right.
We got Brown Bear here.
I feel left out.
I'm sorry,
Eric. We do it over again.
We speak for the trees.
Okay, sorry.
We speak for the trees have no tongues. I'm Luke.
I'm Nick.
I'm Adela.
And we have joining us
Eric.
Okay, let's keep both of those in there. Like, let's have both intros in there.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'm 100% fine with it. So what were you going to ask about Jews? It's okay, I'm half Jewish.
I was watching a podcast, and he was talking about how Jews kind of is a race. Do you think
so not a race, an ethnicity.
Ethnicity.
Yeah.
Okay.
An ethnicity is generally defined as a group of people that are connected through a common language. Yeah. So Hebrew being that language. Okay. It's a religion, but it's also an ethnicity. I guess a similar one would be, like, for instance, being Hindu. To a certain degree, speaking Hindi and being Hindu is an ethnic thing because you cannot convert to Hinduism, unlike Buddhism, which isn't actually really a religion anyway. But yeah, so it's an ethnicity, but not a race, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I can't like write in Jewish on like a race sheet, you know.
But you do get a free trip to Israel.
That's true. Yeah, until I'm 24, I think.
Oh,
really? You get a free trip to Israel?
Yeah, so as long as you are at least, I believe, quarter Jewish ancestry, then you can take a trip to Israel for free, pretty much, until I believe you're 24. Maybe it's a little older even. It might be 26.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Like, where do you go to register for that then?
Usually they take a plane.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no. So I mean,
they pay for your boat.
See, I don't know how that works specifically either, because I don't know how you. It's not like, I don't know. I mean, I guess the only thing I can think of is how would you actually know if somebody's really Jewish or not? What if they're just saying they are? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like the. Well, I mean that's kind of fucked up too, though. I was gonna say it's not like the blood quantum shit for Native American enrollment, but you know. It's not. I would say it's not an exact science.
Yeah.
I mean, like, does the government pay for you to go to Israel, or does your church? I'm sorry. Like, is it a church or a temple?
It's sponsored by a super fund.
That's such an ignorant question.
Yeah, that's
I
what
guess.
I was under the impression of.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So the way I understand it is, yeah, it's sponsored by Israel. So, I assume it's through their, you know, foreign affairs or immigration or something.
I thought it was through a like organization in the Jewish religion, like the Jewish synagogues.
It's called Birthright Israel. It's a non-for-profit education organization. So they do free 10-day heritage trips to Israel for young adults aged 18 to 26 of Jewish heritage. Yeah. Huh.
Would you do that, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be interested in going, honestly. My cousin Zoe, one of my Jewish cousins, actually, she's Japanese. She's half Japanese and half Jewish.
Nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's pretty cool. And she, I believe, she was for the last couple months, in Israel, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I think like Tel Aviv or something like that. Yeah. But I have an aunt, my Aunt Marla, who spends almost half a year every year in Israel. Not necessarily consecutively, but throughout the year she's there. Because she runs a non-for-profit where literally she like gets people to go there and plant trees, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They are speaking for the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know though. It's a shame other countries don't do that. Like, you could get a free 10-day trip to Mexico, Adela. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Or like, I mean, I'm half Russian.
I'm sure in the
trip to
future
Russia.
they'll do that more. But I mean, with the Jewish population, like, it's a lot lower than it could be if the Holocaust didn't happen.
Right, yeah.
And everything with that, they want to preserve their culture, where other cultures are pretty still understanding of their culture. I feel like, you know, where it's. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not understanding, but you know, they really want you to get to know it again.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I mean
And
definitely.
experience it. 'Cause not a lot of people can experience it.
I believe that as of 2016, I think that that's the year that finally the global population of Jewish people reached the level that it was at before the Holocaust, which is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah,
That is
it's
crazy.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Dude, fuck. I was watching Bill Hicks last night with Alexander, and man, I was just telling Luke this earlier. I hadn't really watched a whole lot of Bill Hicks before. That guy is intense, man. He's really fucking good.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Bill Hicks.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you guys would have been all over that because you guys are more on like the comedy scene than I am with like Joe and the Your Mom's House people and all that. But yeah, he was a comedian from the '90s that actually introduced a lot of people to Terrence McKenna, including Joe Rogan, because he would reference a lot of things McKenna said at lectures, like he would talk about a heroic dose of mushrooms and the stoned ape theory and all that shit. He was really interesting, man, but he's intense, dude. Like he actually got essentially barred from doing comedy in the United States, and he had to do it in London for like the latter part of his career because he was saying shit about the government and the Gulf War and all that he they didn't want him saying, so they literally stopped him from being able to do comedy.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, he's really cool, man. I'm trying to I'll look it up right now, but there's a specific it's the ending to one of his stand-up specials, but it's it's called Bill Hicks It's Just a Ride. And man, I would highly suggest everyone who's listening to watch it. It's on YouTube. It's really incredible. Oh, yes. I will put it in the description. Yeah. Oh, God.
I really appreciate that we're all millennials, but we're not like, at least I'm not like super tech savvy. Like, I don't have a YouTube account.
Blasphemy.
Or, I think I only have like Facebook and an Instagram.
You just need a Google account, and you can have an account.
That's true. Yeah. Google's taking it all, man. No, yeah, I agree. I feel like I'm not even a millennial sometimes.
Yeah, I definitely don't feel like a millennial either.
I feel like a millennial.
Do you? In what way? What do you mean?
I'm young. I'm free.
That's the start to a song.
Free to rack up some debt?
That's it.
That's it.
You're young and you're free.
That's the start to a song about.
But are you free?
I feel like a millennial.
Oh, is it really?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
No.
I'm like, really?
Why don't you share your good news with Nick and Lucas
Yeah.
What's the good news?
about your tree thing you did today?
Yeah, what'd you do, buddy?
I had my my biannual Forester's Basic Skills exam today.
Oh, nice, nice.
And I got a 100% on the tree.
Wow.
Damn.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was kind of an unfair advantage because the trees that we were quizzed on were just trees on campus instead of going to like the park or something. And
Yeah.
I studied those trees for a class that I have, so literally all the trees that they had tested us on were trees that I had been quizzed on prior to.
Okay, well that's the perfect storm right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out really nicely when I
Yeah.
figured out what was going down, but yeah, it worked out pretty good. So I got 2 out of the 3 exams passed, so I have 3 semesters to pass the senior level exam.
Wow, okay, man. How many more years of school do you think you have, Dan?
I have 3 semesters.
3 semesters left, okay. Wow. Damn, dude. It's,
Oh,
time keeps slipping into the future, man.
Yeah. I got officially registered to graduate in spring, which is really scary.
You're graduating in spring?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I So I'm taking 6 classes this semester and next semester, and then I've been taking winterim and summer classes as well.
Well, dude, you're just on the fast track, man. I do it the exact opposite way. I don't like to stress myself out. I just want to, I'll get it done when I get it done, man. It's just another semester,
Yeah.
That's what I would do too, but I'm like, my mom helps me pay for school, and I'm tired of like having her work really hard to help me.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, I can't imagine taking 6 classes.
Yeah, it's honestly it's a
walk in the park.
It's a real rough time right now, but
when is your guys' semester over?
We have 2 weeks left. So next week's our last week of classes.
And then finals, right?
And then finals, yeah. Holy shit, that's really scary, man.
Okay, well,
whoa.
As far as I'm aware, same deal for us. So I'll be back. Hopefully, yeah, I'll be hopefully working again at Corporate Disco for winter break to make some quick cash. So I'll be in Algonquin over break, so we can all have some merry holiday times.
Oh, Luke, where do you live? Do you live in DeKalb, or are you from county by?
I have a place I'm staying like year round in DeKalb, but I stay with my parents sometimes too in Lake Bluff, which is up north of Chicago, but not quite in Wisconsin yet. It's like half an hour short of going to Wisconsin.
Is it like as far north as Richmond, but further east? You know what I mean? You know where Richmond is, right?
It's like Crystal Lake.
So
if you're in Crystal Lake,
yeah, you go straight east.
You just go right down 176, and I live off 176.
So it's north of like Palatine and that kind of shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
North of Palatine.
Okay, I got you. And like Lake Zurich around there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. Oh, interesting.
That's like 20 minutes to 10 minutes south.
Okay.
How far is that from NIU?
Hour 40 minutes.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's far, man. I'm only an hour from Algonquin. Algonquin.
What did when Eric's brother picked us up for Thanksgiving break and we got back into Algonquin, he's like, we're back in the 847. I was like, what? Is that what people say now?
That's pretty funny. Which brother? Justin, I assume?
No, Steve Lowe.
Steven, really? Wow, he's making the roadies now.
Wow.
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 Wow. How's all the brothers doing, man?
Oh, they're doing good.
Yeah.
Justin's coming out to Colorado Springs in July.
Oh, wow.
And then, Steven's got another year of high school. Matt'll be in
8th grade.
Yeah, he'll be in 8th grade after this summer.
Dude, Matt's gonna be in high school next year. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, he's trucking.
Dude.
That's so that's so weird to think about, that Matt and Eric are gonna be in high school. Just because
Matt and Steven?
No, Matt, my cousin Eric.
Oh, your cousin Eric, yeah.
Yeah.
Malnourished one.
Wow.
It's just like weird because I remember being in like high school and I feel like they don't act or look like it at all.
Yeah.
Especially Eric.
Yeah, especially Eric, because Eric looks like he's only 10 still, but he's
4.
But he's Matt's age.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, Hadley looks like, and again, Hadley, I'm sorry, but Hadley, she looks kind of like
every episode.
I'm just saying true things here. She kind of looks like she's like 14, but she's like 21.
Yeah, I remember there was times at camp where I would be with like all my campers and somebody would walk by in the wild and be like, "Oh, where's your camp counselor?" And I would turn around and I'd be like, "I'm right here." I'm an adult.
I am an adult.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing camp now, man?
Oh, man. I done it the last 4 summers, but the summer was my last one.
Didn't you say that last summer?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. But I needed an internship. I found out I needed an internship very last minute, and they were going to count camp as an internship, so I just took it. It was the easiest solution.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
I've never.
It kind of sucks though because like my boss was supposed to give me like special tasks to do, like more administrative duties than being like a camp counselor.
Yeah.
And she never like did any of that with me. And then we had a meeting with my professor, and we had to like go over all of those administrative duties, and she just lied.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it because I was taking like 3 classes over the summer.
But it kind of sucks that you didn't actually get exposed to that kind of.
Yes and no, because I mean, I guess the things that like the only things I've never actually done before is like email parents and have done stuff with like budgeting.
Yeah.
I haven't done, but everything else like planning wise and like getting all of the supplies ready for camp and like keeping inventory of shit, I've done all of that before, like making rosters. So I mean, I've done like, and plus like I was a camp coordinator the summer before, so.
Dude, honestly, I think you're gonna have like the perfect skill set for reaching out to like, you know, youth, like disenfranchised youth. Hopefully, man. I think so.
That's really nice of you to say.
Yeah, man, for real. I mean, you've been doing it for a long time, and even though had I not known that, well, let me put it this way: you come off the way you talk about like when you're doing things for camp or for the kids very passionately, and like you have your shit together and like you really want to do it, and it's just funny to me because I also just know like the friend like side of you, you know, so it's very interesting to see like. I mean, I guess everyone is like that to some degree, where you're relaxed and then you're professional. But it's interesting to see, man. I think it's cool. But yeah, dude, seriously, you got this shit. Just like Eric's got his trees down, man. We've all got our thing.
Yeah, I feel like we're all pretty doing good, like doing decent right now, at least.
Hey, man, we're all trying, right? You know?
Yeah, we're all trying. We all
about.
have our life together to some degree.
Yeah, exactly.
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally. I just got checkbooks in the mail today. I feel like I'm a hardcore adult now.
Yeah. I just feel like I'm going to be 24 in 4 days.
Wow.
Oh.
Old.
They're both like, ooh.
It's like that scene in Toy Story when Buzz is going up into... They're like, you've been chosen.
Oh, yeah.
The claw.
The claw.
Thank us. We are eternally grateful.
Yeah, we are eternally grateful.
Toy Story is probably my favorite. I know people don't count Pixar movies as Disney movies. It's like a subgenre.
Yeah.
But I love Pixar movies more than Disney movies, and Toy Story is probably my favorite.
The first one, or just the trilogy in general, or?
I would say the first one, but I do enjoy the other two.
I still haven't seen the third one yet.
Oh, really, dude? The third one made me bawl.
Yeah,
I heard that.
Oh, when Andy goes to college, I literally cried so hard.
Yeah, dude. Because, like, I grew up with those movies. I felt like I was Andy, cathartically, you know what I mean? Because, like, I grew up watching the movies. I had all the toys, too. Like, it's weird. Life's a trip, man. It's weird to think.
And it's interesting to see everyone grown up. Like, to see his sister, because she was just a baby in the first two.
Yeah, that's true.
And they made his mom older, and it makes you realize, like, oh shit, like... I feel like growing up, you don't really realize that as you're growing, your parents are also growing.
Yeah, that's very true.
That movie kind of made me realize that when you see how different Andy's mom looks.
Yeah.
You kind of don't think about that consciously. Like,
you
recognize it, but you don't consider it.
Well, and you're so focused on your own life because you've got so much stuff going. You know, actually, it's funny you guys say this because my mom told me once that she read something somewhere that like really made her think. You know, especially with all the shit that's been going on with my grandparents health-wise, she read that there's like this quote or whatever that said, "As you're growing up, your parents are growing old. So cherish your parents," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh fuck, like, damn, dude, it's true." Because at some point, they're going to be in the condition that our grandparents are at, and we're going to be in the condition that they're at, and then we'll possibly have children.
Yeah.
At that point, it's a weird thing to think about.
It is. But that brings me to my next thing. So, a few weeks ago, I wanted to bring this up, but we didn't meet up again afterwards. Modest Mouse, Lonesome Crowd West.
Oh yeah.
Great album. And it's like 10-year anniversary was like November 17th. But first of all, did you listen to it?
I did not listen to it.
You should totally listen to it.
I completely dropped the ball. Is it on YouTube? Can I access it easily? It is.
Oh, and you should definitely put the link in the description.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna make a notepad file, reminding myself. And by notepad file, I shouldn't have even said that, because in reality, I'm just gonna write on
a notepad,
on an actual notepad.
In literal life.
Yeah, in real life. Wow. Oh boy. But anyway, okay.
I eat liver sausage on wheat crackers.
Hey man, you know what? Liver sausage is great. Anyone who doesn't think so.
Looking for a traditional man who eats fine 1950s cuisine.
1950s Jewish cuisine.
Yes, 1950s Jewish cuisine, and has a beautiful portrait of himself as Harry Potter above his bed.
God damn it, Adela. I'm telling you, that ain't gonna help me get the bitches. That doesn't work that way.
I agree with Adela.
Luke, have you seen the Harry Potter portrait?
Of course he hasn't.
The Harry Potter portrait?
Oh, God.
What is this?
No.
I was watching Harry Potter last night.
Okay, so here it is. My grandfather, as we've talked about before, was an artist, and he would usually also paint shit of his grandchildren, and...
Well, side note, is there a link to this?
No, because it's one of a kind, and I'm not letting that shit get out anywhere.
Okay.
So basically, I dressed up as Harry Potter when I was like 8 for Halloween, and there's a picture of me as Harry Potter, and he painted me as Harry Potter in like a painting with the like Hogwarts backdrop and stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah, and Adela and Eric seem to think that if I put this painting above my bed, that I'll be irresistible to ladies.
No, that's true. Like, especially if they get in here and see that, like, you'll probably be irresistible to men too.
Panties will be dropping.
Oh my goodness.
Drying rack out next to the bed.
What was that, Eric?
You gotta put a drying rack out next to the bed when you put it.
Oh my god.
Wait, I want to see this later though.
Oh goodness.
I need to see this.
It's in Algonquin, and it's gonna stay there for a while. You ain't getting shit.
Oh, man, have some Takis.
I don't know why you won't even try it though, Nick. At least try it once.
Yeah, like what's the worst?
Hang it up, have a girl come over. Either her panties are gonna drop or they're not gonna drop.
Well, I have to be able to find a chick that is willing to come over first, because every chick that I've been interested in so far has been previously. Wait, how would you say it? Previously engaged.
Engaged.
Yes, with some form of relationship. So I got to find one that wants to come over first before I can start my sample of
putting
research.
yourself out there in the right way, Nick.
I guess how do you because I've never had to worry about that, but how do you ask a girl?
Do you see how cocky she is?
Do I see how what she is?
Like
how cocky?
I know. I've only ever dated 2 people in my whole entire life. I'm just asking.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
how what she is?
No. So she's
I
asking how.
Ask somebody out.
Yeah.
Like a date. Just like, and you guys have only like been talking, maybe like in class or on the phone.
Well, if like for instance, there were a couple different girls that I've been interested in throughout the semester that like during class, from my perspective at least, we've been making a lot of eye contact. There's been a lot of conversation. She'll like start conversation with me, and like pursue conversation and stuff. I'll talk to her after class, and if it seems to be going well, after talking to her a couple times or whatever, then I'll ask for her number, and you know, generally it's either like, oh, sorry, I already have a boyfriend, or in the most recent case, I got her number, and then we hung out again, and I was going to ask her out, like, actually, like, if she wanted to, you know, like, go out, like, on a date with me, and then, before I could ask, somewhere in a conversation, she mentioned, that she was going to visit, you know, her boyfriend over break or whatever, and I was like, you know, well, shucks, yeah. But I don't know, I mean, how, fuck if I know, I mean, I'd say it's generally just the Wild West, man, you just kind of go with your gut and...
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
I guess is it really nerve-wracking? Are you really nervous, or is it more like?
I mean,
like,
to a certain degree, yeah, because you're putting yourself out there. I mean, for sure, but I don't know. It's better than I don't know. I found because I used to not even try in high school because I had such terrible self-esteem and all that shit. Like, and I feel like now, even if they're making up the whole boyfriend thing, like even if like I don't know, I still feel better that I at least have tried than not trying at all, you know. And I mean, I'm not really that worried about it. Like, I'm not desperate to have a girlfriend right now. Like, I definitely like one, but you know, I'm perfectly happy right now as well. So, you know.
Exactly.
Why the Harry Potter portrait is important?
Huh? Oh. So I think what maybe your idea would involve then is I would have like a picture of the portrait on my phone and just to test the waters. I'd like be like, hey baby, like, you want to hang out, and just send her that picture of it hanging on my wall, and then
you want to get Slytherin. Oh, we gotta tell this. Okay, wait, I'll tell it afterwards.
No, go ahead.
No, keep with this conversation.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Okay. I mean, what would you say? How do you go about asking a girl out? Like, how does, you know, because fuck if I know.
Well, see, I'm weird. So, first of all, I don't, I only recognize in hindsight, really, when a girl likes me, you know? Mm-hmm. At least to my knowledge.
Yeah.
But, so, I was thinking while you're talking, like, the first thing I try to do is recognize if they are interested in me, and usually I recognize that by if they're trying to figure out our compatibility, you know? Yeah. Like, they're asking questions that a regular friend wouldn't ask, or just, like, even a friend that's a girl wouldn't ask. You know, like, not just, like, your basic opinions on things, but, like, to go deep on them.
Okay, but then I counter with, you know, like, for instance, like, you know, my relationship with, like, Adela, or my relationship with Jana, or, you know, whoever. There are people, though, that are females that are my friends that I do have those conversations with. So
So, like, that is the first, just to see for good friends.
I see, I guess.
You know, because that is, like, how a good friend relationship should be. And this, like, initially meeting a girl, you know?
Right.
But then, I feel like if they don't, like, I hate how girls are so subtle about it. They're so subtle. Like, they say it in such an ambiguous way that, like, you can barely recognize it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's, like, I'm the same way, because I don't want to be hurt, you know?
Right.
So I drop subtle hints that are, like, you could totally construe that as just being a friend, you know? But it's kind of like, if you think it's a subtle hint, acting on it, you know? And that's, depending on their reaction to those subtle hints response, that's how I know if a girl likes me. Usually. Like, that's what I do.
It's not an exact science.
And then if we're sleeping together, then that means they want to date. No,
I don't know if that holds up.
Yeah, Eric's had multiple anonymous women in his life.
Oh my god.
What? Eric, would you like to defend your honor there a little bit?
They were never anonymous. I was good friends with all of them.
We've been talking about this all week. Well, at least I have.
Adele's been getting really jealous.
Well, it's just really funny because I've only ever dated 2 people, and Eric has had, I would say, like, you've had 2 or 3 previous relationships, correct? And then like a few anonymous women that I like to call them anonymous women.
Anonymous. He's got binders and binders of women.
Like trading cards.
Oh my god. No, I mean I see your point though, because I've had 2 girlfriends ever, and I've only ever had one like serious girlfriend, so I get it. And that's why it's hard for me personally, I feel like, because I feel like my experiences are very limited in scope, so I'm very naive about how I navigate, because I don't like the
culture.
Well, that definitely, but I don't like the dating aspect before it's actually dating. Like, I know, like, I can be a good boyfriend, like, I don't have any illusions about that. It's like the weird, like, in the middle part where you first meet somebody and then, like, it gets to that point, like, it's very bizarre.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do if Eric and I weren't dating, because
Should become a lesbian.
I would not be a lesbian. I just, like, I would never put myself out there for anything like that.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
I feel like I would just be a lone cat lady, which I'm perfectly fine with, but I feel very thankful that
I am not the lone
Well,
cat.
as you should, because Eric's a catch.
Yeah, he's a very
I'm what you would call a catch.
Oh.
Yeah. And I also really enjoy the fact that Eric and I were friends for a really long time before we started dating.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've never had that experience. I feel like that would probably be... Because then, at least, even when you start dating, you have, like, a very deep baseline of, like, knowing each other.
Yeah, you just gotta find a way to make it not weird when you see each other naked.
Yeah, I imagine that probably is kind of bizarre at first.
Just gotta get weird with it.
Why would you say
Because
that?
Adela started drooling when she first saw me, and I was like, pull yourself together, girl.
Oh my god.
Delagar.
Oh my god. I fucking love you guys.
Oh yeah. So the other day, me and Nick were walking around campus, and actually, you tell the story. You tell the
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I don't even remember what brought it up initially, but for some reason, that song where it's like, give your dog a bone, that song got stuck in my head, and I was asking Luke, how does that song start? And neither of us could remember at all. Like, we were trying to think of it, and we kept going to, like, This Old Man, which I don't think it's that song.
Yeah, no, that is.
Is
That
it?
is
What?
it.
Hold on, sing the whole song.
This old man, he did something. He played his something with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give your dog a bone. This old man came rolling home.
So it
it
is
is
This Old
that.
Man. Okay.
Okay.
Well, see, I only ever remember...
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's a kid's song.
This old man, he rolls cones.
This old man, he rolls cones.
Yeah, what are the exact lyrics to this song?
Hold on.
He rolls spliffs all the time.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog
Well, right,
a bone.
I only ever remember the knick-knack paddywhack part, because that's what Hadley's mom, my Aunt Carol, that's what she calls me. Hold on.
Wait, finish the story.
Yeah, sorry. So we're walking, though, to the parking garage at the NIU campus, and we couldn't remember for the life of us what the lyrics to this song were. So there's a girl that was walking by, and I just went right up to her and I went, "Hey, excuse me, do you know the beginning of this song where it's like give your dog a bone?" She was like, "No, I'm sorry, I don't." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, we're trying to remember, and we keep
Yeah,
doing
she probably thinks you're about to suck it.
Yeah, it's like 10 o'clock at night. You know?
I would have been
It
so
wasn't 10
freaked
o'clock.
out,
It was
like
like 8
2
o'clock. But anyway,
You know.
But then we were joking as I was driving Luke back to back to your car or whatever it was. I was like, that'd be great if that was if that was like a pickup line, like, "Hey baby, remember give your dog a bone." Oh my god. Sorry. Oh, you had to be there. It was
Remember,
it was
give
great.
your dog a bone.
Remember give your dog a bone. Oh God. See, in hindsight, it's probably not that funny if you weren't there.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'd
You
like
go
some
to school on
discussion
Monday
in
and
the
there's
comments
pictures
on
of
that.
you all over the place.
What was that?
Warning: sexual assault.
Yeah. No, I totally actually didn't. That's why it was funny though, because I totally actually didn't mean it like that at all.
Asked you if you would give a dog a bone.
That's not what I said. I just want to remember the song. Oh my God. Oh. This is perhaps our most controversial episode.
What else can we say?
By the way, I hung out with our very own rock star friend Eric Molson last night.
Oh, nice.
And he said that actually, because he has a new job, he works for a company called Cleaning Authority, and they clean stuff.
Oh, with like Brooke Ward?
Yeah, maybe. And he's the authority on cleaning now. He said that when he walks into that house, he makes that house his bitch. It's great. But anyway,
That's great.
Wow.
he said that when he's working, he listens to our podcasts.
Oh wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he said it was really nice. He said we should definitely keep going. He really enjoys it, and that he likes it because it's like he gets to hang out with us when he can't.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I really appreciated when Eric Molson shared our podcast on Facebook.
Yeah, he said he did. I thought that was
that's
really
awesome.
really nice of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's such a great guy, man. He's a really good dude. We're watching Predator, and he could quote every line from that movie. It was pretty awesome.
No,
You know,
I was watching Alien. Was
Oh,
that
really?
last one? The
Oh,
newer one.
Which one?
The newest one, Covenant.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it. Is it good?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay. I really liked Prometheus.
Yeah, it like piggybacks right off of Prometheus.
Okay. Oh, well, cool, man. I'll have to check that out. I remember actually seeing Prometheus in theaters with Jasek, and I remember that was like the first time that I watched a movie where I was like, wow, like I almost can't tell at all that this is special effects. Like, it was pretty like high production quality.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's the guy's name? Ridley Scott?
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott. He's a bad motherfucker.
Damn.
Damn.
Oh, I have a good question because Luke was talking about Modest Mouse earlier.
Oh yeah.
I guess Nick, you don't listen to Modest Mouse, correct?
Yeah.
I have only when I've been chilling with Luke recently.
Okay.
And it's like, he's a humble moose.
What is your favorite Modest Mouse album, Luke?
Oh.
What was the one you wanted me to have in the search description?
Lonesome Crowd West.
Okay.
Probably Moon and Antarctica.
That's also my favorite album.
But I really love Everywhere in His Nasty Parlor Tricks, even though it's an EP. I love that album, but Moon and Antarctica is probably their best album.
Like their objective best as opposed to your favorite kind
Like,
of deal? Or is it
like,
also your favorite?
I could listen to Moon and Antarctica all the time,
Mhm.
but I don't know. Everywhere in His Nasty Parlor Tricks as an artist inspires me.
Okay.
Is a better way to put it.
Yeah.
Like, that one's my favorite to listen to,
Mhm.
but that one inspires me. The Everywhere in His Nasty Parlor Tricks.
Interesting. Inspires you
To create.
How does he create his music? Is he actually playing instruments, or is he mixing sounds, or what is he doing? Because I mean, when I listened to it with you in the car that one time, I mean, I don't really feel like I got enough of a.
Yeah, he likes doing the like harmonics a lot. He likes doing the harmonics. I like that, and just a lot of delay and shit.
But does he
on
play
some
guitar?
stuff.
What does he do?
He plays guitar
Okay.
and sings. He writes the lyrics and everything.
So it's not like electronic music. It's like him playing instruments and then mixing it and doing all sorts of shit to it.
Well, I mean, he has a band too.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to discern. If it's like one guy doing a bunch of shit, or how is it?
I think he writes it, but then like he writes the main chord progressions, and then they play to whatever they want to. Like if you listen to the bass riff a lot, like he's not following the guitar. You know?
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting. Like, especially on Everywhere in His Nasty Parlor Tricks, he, like, the bassist doesn't follow the natural rhythm. Kind of like in Grateful Dead, they do that sometimes, too.
Yeah,
Where one guy will play in, like, 6/8, one guy will play in 3/4.
Yeah. I think, I love those polyrhythmic kind of, that, some of the earlier Dead music is especially like that, like 68 through 70, man, like, dude, when they would throw out, there was a song that they had called The 11, that was 11 over 8 time, like, just a really weird time structure, and, like, they would just play, like, they would go straight from another song right into that song, and they'd just, like, instantaneously, seamlessly change the time structure, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Yeah. Yeah.
You piece of shit. How
Damn
did
it,
you do that?
Jerry, you're too
Why are you
fucking
so
good.
fucking good?
Maybe I should chop off the middle of my finger.
But did you guys see that? Did you guys see that Isaac Brock like hit someone and like he's getting sued?
No, what?
Yeah, he fell asleep driving. He's getting sued with like a $900,000 lawsuit.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, was he under the influence?
I think he was just tired.
Under the
But
influence.
he is known to have alcoholic tendencies.
As a lot of musicians do.
I mean, he has a song that's just about I'm trying to drink away the part of the day that I cannot sleep away.
That's like that. Wait, who does that? Is it Devil Makes 3 that does the song where it's like, "Why am I drunk in the middle of the day?"
Well, I'm not drunk.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Why the hell am I drunk in the middle of the day? Who's that by?
I think, is it called Shades?
The band?
No,
the song.
that song.
Well, who's it by though?
Devil Makes 3.
Okay, it is. Sorry. I didn't hear if you guys said yes or not when I asked if it was by them.
So, what's your favorite Modest Mouse album?
Wisconsiners.
What?
What's your favorite Modest Mouse album?
I'd have to say Lonesome Crowded.
Alright, good choice.
Yeah. Mine's Moon in Antarctica
Yeah,
as well.
so good.
Probably followed by Good News for People Who Love Bad News.
Yeah.
I will have to check out Modest Mouse. I think you guys all seem to speak pretty highly of it.
Yeah.
So.
The first time I really tripped, we listened to Modest Mouse the whole entire day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you listen to it, does it have like a almost nostalgic feeling where you almost feel like you're like tripping?
I wouldn't say I'm tripping, but it does remind me of that.
Yeah.
I feel like.
But like, I don't know. Like I find sometimes when I listen to music that's like that, it helps me like think along those lines again.
Yeah. No, I mean, we were outside the whole time, and it was just a very interesting experience, like listening to Modest Mouse, and then being in like a giant forest preserve.
Yeah, that's fun, man.
Yeah.
I have a strong connection actually with the Doors, because one of the first times I tripped, I got, oh god, I tripped and I had to go on a trip to Florida with my mom the next morning, and I was like, yeah, fuck it. It was my first time tripping, and I remember I fell asleep at like 4 in the morning, and we had to get up at like 5:30 to get on the plane, like to drive out to get on the plane. And I was still tripping a little bit when we were walking through the airport, and I'm listening to the Doors in like one earbud, and the song Soul Kitchen is on, and he's like, and speak in secret alphabets, I light, and I was just like, oh my god, what is happening right now? Oh my goodness. But ever since then, whenever I listen to the Doors, I'm like, oh, high school, the old days.
Even though I don't trip anymore, can I give a suggestion on a good album to trip on?
I mean, yeah, sure.
So,
No.
I mean, I don't know if you guys probably don't listen to this band. They're a little, like, they're proggy, like, acid rock, I think it's called.
Mhm.
But it's the Mars Volta, and
I'm familiar.
their first album, Deloused in the Comatorium. Listen to that. Listen to that. That was, like, my favorite album for that experience.
I think my favorite for that experience is probably Nothing Lasts But Nothing Is Lost by Spangle.
Spangle.
Yeah.
You're telling me about that.
Oh god, Spangle's incredible, man. Literally made by a guy when he trips for people when they trip. Literally, that's what he makes it for.
Oh, yeah.
Not even kidding.
Do you listen to Dr. Dog?
Yes.
Love Dr. Dog.
Also, sometimes for me.
I
You
don't
do?
listen to him like a lot. I actually haven't listened to him like a year, but I know who you're referring to.
Okay.
Wait, have you guys ever listened to oh God, what is it called? It's something like Puppy or something like that.
Snarky Puppy?
Yeah, Snarky Puppy.
I've never even heard of them.
Dude, they're good, man. They're like a really
Yeah,
funky like jam band from Florida.
Yeah, they're like a new age like jazz transfusion band.
Yeah, totally, man.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Actually,
What's
speaking
the
of,
name of that?
it's Snarky Puppy. I actually, when I went down there with my mom a couple years ago, we went and visited my dad's and mom's friends, and we went to like a little Dead show, and then he was saying that he asked me if I couldn't go with, but he has asked me if I wanted to go to him or with him to Snarky Puppy the next day.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah, it would have been. That was a great Dead
What?
show, though.
I guess, what is a band that you could listen, like, if you could only listen to one band for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Taylor Swift?
So if I say Grateful Dead, does that include any of Jerry's solo stuff?
No, it has to be just Grateful Dead.
Okay, well, what if I say Jerry Garcia? Does that include Jerry Garcia acoustic band and non-acoustic band and with David Grisman and with, blank, blank, blank?
It's only Hooterl.
Only, oh, dude, that'd be rough. Okay, if I have to choose, then I would say the Grateful Dead, because there's an almost lifelong supply of shows.
Yeah.
Alright.
And, I mean, it's my favorite band, so.
Yeah.
What would you choose?
I would probably have to,
Bob Marley?
yeah, either Bob Marley or Dr. Dog.
I'm not surprised. What about you, Eric? And I'm not saying that kind of soundingly, it's just, you obviously
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a tough question.
Maybe Sublime.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sublime.
See, I feel like the problem with that, though, is there's just not enough Sublime, because
Mhm.
he died so young.
Yeah, that's true, but there's still a pretty healthy amount of stuff out there.
Yeah. Same with Slightly Stupid, man. That'd be a great band, too.
Yeah.
Or Fish, for that matter.
Yep.
What about you, Luke?
I'm trying to decide. It's between Modest Mouse and Elliott Smith, because, like, their music I can relate to the most, and, like, I just can't imagine never listening to either one of them again. Probably Elliott Smith right now, and I'll probably regret in the future, but right now it makes sense,
Oh my goodness.
But, like, he's got every emotion in his music, and I think that's why I like him. It's like he has happy, he has sad, he has mostly sad, but he has happy, he has sad, he has...
That's part of the reason why I love the Dead, too, man, because they go through just the fullest range of emotion, too.
Yeah.
Like, you can go from Scarlet Begonias into Fire on the Mountain, which is, like, pure jubilation, and then you go straight into Comes a Time, and you're like, oh my god. Especially, like, the 84, 85 Comes a Times.
Or Led Zeppelin.
Heroin Jerry. Oh, Led Zeppelin.
Actually, probably Led Zeppelin.
Actually, Adele, I'm kind of surprised you didn't say Pink Floyd at all.
I love Pink Floyd, but, like, if it's something that I would have to listen to, because I listen to music every day.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
I would want it to be some, I don't know. I just feel like I feel like I always listen to at least one Bob Marley song and one Dr. Dog song a day.
Wow.
And I've been doing that, like, consistently since, like, middle school, so.
Wake up in the morning. Wake up with the rising sun.
It was actually, in the summer, for some reason, I listened to, like, an absurd amount of Bob Marley.
Well, it's because we went to that Whalers show.
Well, no, this is, like, every summer.
Oh.
But this was, like, maybe 2 summers ago when I was driving to camp. It was, what road is that? It's not Rockhow. That road where those 2 big lakes are, the 3 Oaks Beach, and then the other side's, like...
Yeah, that is Rakow.
That is Rockhow?
Yeah.
I was driving in between those 2 lakes, and I was listening to a Bob Marley song, and I was just, like, kind of, like, screaming to it, and it was, like, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I see this, like, in the corner of my eye, I see this giant seagull flying down, like, really low, And I was like, that's weird that seagull's flying that low. It's going to hit a car probably. And then all of a sudden, it smacks into my windshield.
Holy fuck.
And I'm going like 60 because
Holy
it's like 6
fuck.
o'clock, so there's no one on the road. So I'm going 60, this giant fucking seagull just hit my windshield. And I was like, I didn't even know what to do, so I was just screaming, and I didn't even stop. I just kept going. And I looked back, and the poor seagull was just like twitching on the ground. It didn't. I don't think it died from the hit. It had to have died like maybe a few minutes later. But for initial impact, it just fell on the ground, and there was like a bunch of feathers stuck, like stuck between the windshield wipers.
Did your windshield like crack at all?
Yeah.
No, I honestly am so surprised that it didn't, because it hit it really hard. I mean, I don't even, like, imagine, like, because I was going 60, I don't know how fast the bird was going, but that impact was so hard.
Man. Yeah, was that your first time ever, like, killing an animal driving?
No, I accidentally ran over a squirrel, and I called my mom crying.
Dude, yeah, I ran over a squirrel last week, man. It was right down the road from here, actually, and I put on gloves, and I walked to where I ran him over, and I picked him up and carried him all the way to the Kishwaukee River and gave him a sailor's funeral.
That's so sad.
I felt bad, man. I had to do him right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I love squirrels, so I was so sad when I hit one.
They make really weird sounds.
Yeah.
They sound like people when they scream. No, really.
They do. They sound so weird.
Yeah, Alexander and I were walking down the path behind our parents' place in Algonquin, and we were listening to all the squirrels. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're weird, man. Yeah.
A few summers ago, I was sitting in my backyard, back in Lake in the Hills, and this squirrel, for some reason, was trying to climb on top of the electrical lines. And it was electrocuting him, and he was making, like, that weird, like, scream sound.
Cool.
And I was watching him, and I was like, all you have to do is let go, little squirrel. Just let go. And it would, like, crawl a little bit, and then it would, like, and then it would sit there and, like, scream for, like, 2 minutes, and then crawl a little bit more, and then sit there and scream for 2 minutes. I was like, all you have to do is jump off.
Maybe he was, like, stuck there, though. Like, because, you know, like, when you touch, like, an outlet and it zaps you, you're, like almost, like, connected to it for a second.
Yeah.
All his muscles
I've been
were probably
electrocuted
like,
so many times.
You've been electrocuted so many times?
Yeah.
Why?
Just...
Is
Well,
this
okay,
a
so-
stupid problem or a...
Oh my god.
This is Patrick.
What?
No, this is Patrick.
Okay, so the first time I guess this was like the first time it was like an actual really long electrocution.
Yeah.
was I was painting in my room, like the walls, and
Right.
I accidentally painted over an outlet,
Ooh.
Oh.
and I was really dumb, and I thought you could just wipe it off, so I just took like a rag
Oh, God.
and wiped the outlet off, and it was like that moment, like, where you said, like, you know, when you get electrocuted, you can't, like, you kind of, like, sit there and let it electrocute you for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was my first time getting electrocuted, so that happened. And for some reason, like, I just could not, like, I was in disbelief that I was electrocuted.
You're like,
so,
wow.
This is awesome.
And I'm sure, like, I let it happen for a tad too long, and then finally, like, I snapped out of it. But, like, afterwards, like, it really fucked me. It fucked me up.
Yeah.
I was fucked up.
It fucked
It's
you
always been a
up.
little truly after that happened.
That's crazy.
Wait, maybe that's... never mind, I'm not going to say anything. I was going to say, maybe that's why you think you're on the spectrum now, dude.
That's 100% why she's on this.
Okay, this is not a mean thing. She's said before she thinks she's on the spectrum, so this is something she's said. I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Adela. I don't really think that.
We told Eric's parents that when we were back home for Thanksgiving.
Oh, God.
No, correction. She told my parents that when we were.
Eric's stepdad, Peter, was just like, I knew it the moment I met her.
Wow. I'll just never forget that video that Eric showed me of you guys when you guys first started dating, where you were hiding under his bed, and he found you in his room under his bed, and like you were like, "Oh my God, you're taking a video."
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that. There was. I have a funny story about that.
Yes.
After that happened, like a few days later, when I was at Eric's house, he went into Justin's room, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to go to Justin's room to grab something really quick, and so I was going to try to scare him, so I hid in the closet, and then him and Justin came back to his room, and they were getting ready to pack a bowl because they wanted to smoke, and I was like, oh, this is really awkward now because I'm in the closet, and they're both, like, in the room. And then Justin's like, where did Adela go? And Eric's like, I don't know, she's probably in the bathroom shitting or something. and I was still in the closet, and I must have stayed in there for, like, and I realized, like, I was in there for a tad too long now, like, where if I jumped out, it would just be kind of creepy. So I stayed in the closet for, like, 10 minutes. And I just finally opened the door and came out.
And they're probably like, what the fuck?
100%.
Oh my God. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Well, you know what? I mean, you almost got him, Adela. You almost got him. Oh my God.
There's just so many embarrassing things I've done in my life.
What do you think is your, like, most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
Most embarrassing thing.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, no, because I do so much embarrassing shit. I would say for this week, the most embarrassing thing I did was I was waving. I was waving to these dogs. This guy was walking his 3 dogs, and so I waved to each one.
Like each dog individually?
Yeah, I was waving to each dog. And this girl, Eric's like, stop waving to dogs, people are gonna think you're weird. And then I was like, no, you gotta wave to all 3 of them. And as I was waving to the 3rd dog, I was like, hi, little dog. This girl was sitting on her porch smoking a cigarette. She was just staring at me, and she laughed. She laughed at my fucking face.
Or not to.
That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, that's for this week. That was probably the most embarrassing.
For this week? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I just asked her what her most embarrassing thing is, and she said that this week she waved to 3 dogs individually and then was laughed at.
Do you guys feel like you do a lot of embarrassing things or not really?
I feel like I probably do things that people would think are embarrassing, but I just don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
I think that I do things against the social norm.
Yeah.
Like, when so this one time, I forget where we're driving, but me and a few friends are driving, probably somewhere in Wisconsin. Middle of nowhere, in Wisconsin. And there's a bunch of horses. I'm like, oh, hi, horsies, and, like, waving and everything. And they're, like, laughing at me. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, yeah, normal people don't do that. That's, like, a little kid thing. Like, to normal people's standards.
Yeah. I don't know, yeah. Just, like, I try to take a cue from Casey, man. You just gotta be a prankster about life, man. Can't get hung up too much about shit.
Yeah, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
What did you do earlier this week that you said was... Oh, yeah, Eric said that when he was walking home this week, he took his hair and he tied it in the front so it looked like he had a really long beard when he was walking home from class. And I asked him why he did that, and he's like, I don't know, I just felt like doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why not?
Goes back to the theory of, like, being a little boy. Like, you guys just... You get, like, before the thought even, like, runs through your head, you're already doing it.
Oh, yeah, totally, man. Guys are definitely like that, man. That's definitely true. Yeah.
I think that's also like our personalities are like that too.
That's true. Yeah. It's like, well, why not?
Well, like I feel kind of bad now that I know that, because there's like times when like boys at camp will do something and I'll be like, why would you do something like that? And they're like, oh, I don't really know. And like, what do you mean?
No,
What do you mean you don't know? But they genuinely do not know why they did that.
They just did stuff because they were compelled to by being a childhood boy.
You gotta take risks. You gotta take some risks, because, like, I mean, I bet that's, like, how most comedians got to be the way they are, just doing that weird stuff over and over again, and then getting to this, like, weird spot within yourself that's, like, just hilarious,
Well, some comedians.
Yeah.
But I feel like with anything,
though,
you have
favorite.
Yeah, but like anything though, they practice that. You know what I mean? Like it's a craft that they're always working on too.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely have to like be able to find your own way to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is really admirable about comedians, man. That they like, because essentially they're kind of like a way to deal with social issues that everyone can participate in and is generally conflict causing, you know what I mean? Like nobody is gonna get in like a fist fight over Dave Chappelle.
We should start a new political party called the Comedy,
the Comedians.
Yeah, and then like all of our political debates are revolved around comedy.
Or are just comedy.
Yeah. But like talking about how you're going to get policy done through comedy.
Yes, I like that.
Oh man,
I like that.
We're going to change politics
for the funnier. Huh. Oh.
Right.
So, Adela,
future to
I would just like to ask you a question about the whole history episode you want to do over winter break.
Oh yes.
So are we each gonna be looking into something that we want to like look into, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, like if you have an historical event or person in history that you just find interesting.
Yeah.
Just kind of like give like a brief summary about it.
Okay, I'm down with that. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it.
Alright.
I was talking. Eric Molson said he'd be willing to come on as a guest at some point. That'd be fun.
Nice.
We could Skype him in.
That would be fun.
Also, my friend Brad, who actually works as a environmental wetland scientist or a wetland restoration scientist or something like that. He said he wanted to come on and talk shit with us and be semi-professional as well, because he gets he's a real scientist now. It's kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, he makes the big bucks already. Right out of
That's so weird that we're like getting to that point in our lives where like we actually have like legit adult jobs.
We're getting there, man. We're getting there.
Yeah. It's weird because like I know that like we didn't really know each other in like middle school or high school, but like we've gone to school with each like Eric Molson, for instance. Like I known Eric Molson since like high school.
Yeah, I've been friends with Eric Molson since 6th grade.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like weird.
I remember meeting him, actually. I had art with him, and we sat at the same table. There was like 4 people per table. We sat at art together, and we sat across from each other, and we would just make weird voices and talk about video games and boy stuff, I guess.
I met Eric Molson freshman year in our SPED math class.
Your what math class?
SPED, special ed math.
Oh.
Oh.
Because it could be an accelerated one.
Yeah, I felt like maybe like it sped up.
Yeah.
No, SPED. Special ed.
I see. I've never heard anybody call it SPED before.
That's a pretty good joke. You just have like potato brains.
What?
Eric said that it was called Spud math.
Oh, Spud.
I was like, yeah, because we had potato brains.
Oh my god. Do you remember when you and Eric Molson and I were hanging out at Braywood, and you were talking about the time that he told you the story of him getting a haircut And when he was getting his hair cut, a pencil fell out of his hair and scared the woman. And then he just straight up was like, no, I don't think that really happened. I must have made that up. Like,
I was so disappointed.
It was so, at least he was honest.
Yeah.
That's funny though. He was
he was just like a 14-year-old boy when he made that up.
Yeah, it's true. That'd be so funny because he's got a big fro. He's kind of like Jimi Hendrix looking. He's got a big old fro, and big old sideburns and shit. But
nice.
And he's had a big fro for a while. And the story goes that obviously it's a lie now, we know. But the story goes he was getting a haircut, and when the tailor, what do you call it?
Barber.
So barber was the tailor. When the barber was cutting his hair, a pencil fell out. Like, I don't know why you would make that up. Sorry, Eric.
So stable.
I know you're probably one of our few dedicated listeners.
No, I mean, I totally bullshit shit.
Yeah, Nick, you just been like dissing all of our only listeners.
I do it because I love them.
This is we speak for the roasters.
Oh God. Oh.
That was just first. I don't know. It was pretty bad. We could definitely come up with a better name.
We roast for the trees.
We definitely don't roast the trees.
No, we don't roast the trees, but we roast for the trees. Yeah.
For the trees have no.
Eric is having a Christmas party at his work, and it's like a mystery thing, so everyone has a role.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And he is.
I was talking about doing something.
What the fuck are you?
The Lorax.
Eric got casted as the Lorax.
Really? I don't know how that relates to Christmas, but...
Yeah, I don't know how it relates to Christmas.
It's just because it's Dr. Seuss theme.
It's Dr. Seuss theme.
Oh.
Well, isn't this like a murder mystery thing, or what are you talking about?
A murder mystery where he's the
Lorax?
Lorax?
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking when you're talking about a mystery party.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's a murder mystery, and it's Dr. Seuss themed.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That is bizarre.
See, I was talking about doing something like that for Green Paws. We should totally do that. I'd love to do that.
I just don't get how that's Christmassy though.
I agree.
Hold
on. Speaking of Christmassy though, I need to ask you guys this, okay? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can't answer.
Have you not seen Die Hard?
I
haven't seen the original Die Hard. I only saw like the later ones.
I only played the arcade game at Nickel City in Highland Park, I think.
Wait, so none of the...
Nickel City's awesome as shit.
Yeah.
Wait,
you can bring your own nickels there.
Yeah. I know. It's the best. And they have free games in the back.
Yeah, that's also true. Like, the old school games are free. And then all the new ones are a nickel.
Yeah.
Wait, so... Oh, fuck. I totally forgot what I was just going to ask.
Is Die Hard a Christmas
Oh, yeah, no,
movie?
but wait, so none of the three of you have seen the original Die Hard all the way through?
I have it on VHS. I think I've seen it once.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm only asking because I watched it for the first time all the way through last Christmas with Alexander, and it's a very good movie, and it takes place during Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know personally what makes a Christmas movie, so I would say I think it's probably a Christmas movie, but there's some people that really don't think it is.
Hey, if you watch something annually on a specific day, that makes it that day's movie.
Like A Christmas Story is a great movie.
If it's a Christmas movie for you, Nick, it could be a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Hanukkah movie?
Yeah, what the fuck? Why aren't there any cool Hanukkah movies?
I don't know.
Crickets.
That one day I was playing cricket noises during Green Pod.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. We should have a sound effect reel ready to go now.
We should, dude. We can add it in later, maybe.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny.
Yes.
We were going to buy you a mensch on the bench, Nick.
Yeah, I'd love a mensch on the bench. Instead of elf on the shelf. Mensch, like Jew, mensch on a bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little rabbi.
Also, I was really impressed. Michael's has a whole little section dedicated to Hanukkah decorations.
Really?
All right,
Yeah.
Represent.
No Kwanzaa there.
No Kwanzaa?
No
What about
Kwanzaa
Ramadan?
there.
They're not about
Or
it.
Ramadan.
Yeah, neither Ramadan either.
I mean, people are just starting to get onto the Hanukkah. So.
How about the Chinese Lunar New Year?
Yeah,
No.
not that either.
No. Hey man, they got good food at that shit.
Do they?
They got fried rice?
Yeah, like if you go to Chinatown during the Lunar New Year, you get great shit.
Have you been?
Hadley goes almost every year.
That's cool.
And I've been to Chinatown once, but it's been a long time. I'd like to go again though, it's fun.
I feel like, does Hadley like learning about other cultures, or is she just more so like, she just likes, I guess I don't really know how to phrase that.
Well, I mean, yes. And I would say that her medium of accessing other cultures is through linguistics.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it would probably be music.
Cool.
Or, I mean, I guess history too, but, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she's an incredible linguist, man. She is accredited, or I don't know if you would say accredited, but she actually has her credentials that she can speak level 1 fluent, or is it level 3? It's whatever's the lowest level right now, but she's getting another qualifier or whatever. But level 1 Japanese, she's got pretty good Chinese, she's learning Spanish, she knows German and English, and she wants to learn Gaelic at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Why is she doing this?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because she is naturally very skilled in learning language and accessing like being fluent in languages it seems to come very naturally to her, and she obviously practices at it a lot. But she seems to have that like knack where she can pick it up and notice like patterns and stuff. I would imagine, but I think she just does it because she finds it interesting. And she actually often teaches herself basically by like reading comics or manga or something in that language, and learning it contextually.
That's fun.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
I remember in high school, senior year and junior year as well, the school made me take Spanish, and I'm dyslexic, so I can't even read or write well in my own language.
Yeah.
And so they wanted me to take Spanish 2 my senior year, and I was really mad about it because I almost failed Spanish 1. I think I got like a D in it. And and I kept telling my advisor, I was like, I'm dyslexic, it's impossible for me to learn another language. And she didn't understand. And then halfway through the first semester, they called my mom in to have a meeting, and they're like, so we're gonna take Adela out of Spanish because as we were looking through her paperwork, we realized that she has dyslexia, and part of her dyslexia is she doesn't know how to break down words. So like, when you're little and you go like cat.
Yeah.
Like my brain doesn't know how to do that. Like I know how to make those sounds because we went over them in class all the time when I was younger. I wasn't actually ever learning them myself. I was just memorizing them.
She would go cut hot dog.
But yeah, that was really fucked up. So like that's cool that she's able to learn other languages because I wish I could do that, but it's almost impossible for me to.
Interesting. I would say I'm kind of neutral with languages. I feel like I was starting to notice some patterns that I could use to my advantage when I was learning Lakota, but I haven't practiced or tried at all in almost a year, so I've forgotten a lot of it. I remember like some words, and I remember like the phrasing, the way their grammatical structure works, but I would probably have to start over from square one. But that's interesting though. So like, what was it like? I mean, like trying to learn how to like read or something. I mean, I find this interesting.
So I remember at the end of kindergarten, we had to go into the gym and we all got like tested on the alphabet and just really simple spelling words.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't I couldn't do it like by myself. Like I remember writing a couple of letters, and the lady who was doing my assessment like looked at me really weird.
Yeah.
I remember that like very vividly, and then going into first grade, like it was like within the first month of first grade when we would have spelling tests. I just remember like getting really awful anxiety every single Friday, and then my teacher, called my mom and was like, "Hey, my daughter has dyslexia. I think your daughter has dyslexia too." And so I got tested right after that. So like it was cool, but like when at least at the end of kindergarten and the first month of first grade, I still do. Like I really hate writing. Like writing papers for me is almost impossible because it takes me like 2 hours just to write a 2-page paper.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I find personally that writing's really weird for me. Like, if I'm in the mood, I could sit down and pound out like 3 pages in a half hour. But it's weird because it doesn't happen like that all the time. Like, when I'm trying to write a paper and I know it's due like a month away, I'll like try maybe 3 different times before the due date. I'll sit down, and if I can sit down and like just start writing, that's when I'm going to write the paper, and that's when I do it, and I can almost get the whole thing done in one sitting.
I'm not like that.
Yeah, it's really weird for me. I don't know why. And sometimes like I'll like start and like do like the first paragraph, and then I'll just think about the rest of the paper for like another day, and then I'll come back and I'll just like fly through the rest.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that more. Like, think about it when I'm not working on it.
Yeah, it helps you digest your thoughts so that you can just transpose them onto the paper. Mm-hmm. It's almost like making an outline, but instead you're just like thinking about it.
Yeah. Because once when you get to it, it's like you already thought through it, so it's like just putting it where.
Right.
That's always the hardest part for me is where the fuck do I put this?
Yeah.
And then.
Well, I'll change stuff around a lot too. Yeah. Like I'll like read it again.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, oh, that doesn't flow. I'll put that up there, and then like change a couple things around.
I never do that. I'll literally write a paper, and then the next day I'll fix all the grammar in it, and then I'll just turn it in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you never show it to other people?
No.
Do you ever try reading it out loud when you're done with it?
Sometimes I will. Sometimes. I mean, it's such a struggle for me that by the time I'm actually done writing the paper, like, I'm just fucking over it.
Yeah. It is. It's definitely, well, maybe not proven causationally, but there's a definite correlation between, like, giving yourself a day and then looking at it again and successful writing. Because your thoughts change when you're actually putting it on the paper. You're going through it with a certain set of eyes almost, and then when you look at it again, you're like, oh wait, like what was I trying to say here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody's different, man. I'm terrible, so fucking terrible at math, like so bad. But I find history and English really easy.
Yeah, I like history. At least I don't like my history class I'm in right now.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it's structured.
Do you not like the professor, or?
I would say I like the professor as a person. I don't think I like him as,
a professor.
Yeah, just because I really enjoy the way he wants, like, the way he teaches history is he wants you to learn things about that aren't normally focused on, or you probably have never even, like, read about. And so I like that because it's a very interesting perspective, but he's so, he knows so much information that I feel like he kind of expects you to also have that same amount of information already. And then it's also difficult because I'm with a bunch of history majors, so this isn't like their first history class that they've taken.
What is the history class on?
Revolutionary America. It's for my native studies.
Oh, interesting. Do they talk about Sullivan burning all the, was it the Seneca corn? Or the...
It was the Iroquois Confederacy.
Well, right, but the Seneca is one of the 5, or the 6 tribes in the Iroquois. One of them sided with Britain. Oneida, maybe?
Yeah. Actually, a lot more tribes sided with Britain than the U.S.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I mean, I just have been going down the rabbit hole of this recently, but do you guys know what the War of 1812 was actually pretty much about?
No.
So...
Well, obviously not. If you're phrasing it like that.
Well, I mean, Adela's like into this stuff too, so I didn't know if she looked into it before.
The government tells me.
Well, what? I mean, what like do you?
I don't know, so I'm just...
Well, no, I'm just curious, like what you guys think about. Like, do you know the War of 1812? No, that's where the song. That's where the Star Spangled Banner comes from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but anyway, so the War of 1812 was pretty much fought because the British were trying to help the Iroquois and the Chippewa and the Menominee and a lot of tribes in what was called the Old Northwest, which was like modern day Ohio, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Kentucky. Oh, and Indiana. That was not part of the United States yet, officially, like Kentucky was, but that area generally was kind of contested still. And the British were essentially trying to establish a buffer state between the United States and all the other European colonial interests in North America, and they basically wanted there to be a globally recognized Native American confederacy, like if the Iroquois were actually like represented in the UN kind of a deal. You know, they wanted there to be a state almost by royal proclamation, and they were putting a lot of trade pressure on the United States, and there was a naval incident that happened, and war ensued, and basically once the United States defeated them, they pretty much Britain ceded all of its territory south of Canada, and that's when a lot of the Iroquois moved into Canada, is because they essentially knew that they were going to be moved west of the Mississippi anyway, you know, throughout the rest of the 1800s. So pretty interesting though. Like, you can even look up on Wikipedia like the Old Northwest, you know, as a region, and it's kind of defined by that period in time. And then after that, and I never knew this either, but there's like this thing, it's a historical period in our government's history called the Era of Good Feelings, and it's like an era of unprecedented bipartisanship because of the events of the War of 1812. Everyone was like, oh, we're one nation, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, that lasted about 40 years, and then, you know, slavery started to kind of creep up as an issue again, and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, kind of funny. Huh?
He said tricky stuff.
Yeah. It's weird, man, when you look at history.
From Eric.
I need a microphone and 2 turntables.
What?
I think I'm actually going to ask for a new mic for Christmas. Yeah, we can make it a little more official, perhaps.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Wait.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. I think this conversation seems like it's coming to a natural descent.
Yeah, and
so,
with something educational.
Yeah, before we try to force it any longer, would you guys agree this is probably a good time to sign off?
Yeah, this is good.
All right, well, lovely chatting with y'all as usual. Thanks everybody for listening. It was grand. Any last words, y'all? Obviously not. Okay.
Nope.
Eric looked like he was going to say something really important.
Maybe next episode.
Mostly just drawing a lot of that.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your weekend, y'all.
Yeah, and I'll see y'all next Friday for the next episode.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye, Mongolians.
Bye, Mongolians.
Adios, Mongolia.
Bye, Mongolians.